morning. We are on 7 different platforms this morning. Good morning, Jay. And we're taking on this platform over here. We're taking your comments. So please feel free to comment. Now we're going to be talking about that. Okay, so people perceive others that way sometimes, right? Because you see someone and they'll take a position on something, right? And then you'll see them somewhere else. And then when you see them somewhere else, right, you see them take another position, or when they're with someone else, they act differently. It's not necessarily that they have two faces. They're not being two-faced in the true sense of betrayal, okay? What it is their paradigm. Because human beings have multiple paradigms. And that's the topic of discussion today, amongst other things. But your paradigm is important. Why is it important? Because your paradigm is essentially a framework of beliefs, assumptions, and experiences, okay? And how you interpret the world through these experiences. Okay, so your beliefs, right? What you believe in your let's take a look at the tree, okay? The subconscious tree. The roots are your core beliefs. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. So when you keep thinking a thought, it becomes a root down here, a root of the tree. Okay, it's in your subconscious. Now, your paradigm is the trunk of the tree. This is your framework of beliefs, assumptions, and experiences. Okay, and this is how you interpret and see the world, how you respond to the world, how you perceive the world based upon what you believe, the roots. Okay, so that's the trunk of the tree. Now, the fruits on the top of the tree, okay, now these are your actions and your habits. And they're produced by the paradigm, okay? Because that's what you understand. That's how you see the world. So that's how you're going to act. And this is all based upon the roots of the tree, or what you believe to be true, or your core beliefs. So your core fundamental beliefs are established from the time you're born till about 7 years old. So until you're 7 years old, you don't really even, you're not really even a part of consciousness yet, because you're not fully aware. You're absorbing information from 0 to 7. Okay, so do you have a 4-year-old? Feed their interest. Feed them good things. Speak well to them. Show them good things. If you have young children like this, by the time they're 7 years old, they just start to become a part of consciousness. We don't really discuss this. So when you and your daughter, okay, is different. You have a different one for your son, different one for your daughter, different one for your mother, different one for your father, different one for your bestie, different one for your boss, different one for your coworkers. Okay? Human beings are very complex individuals. Very complex. So the beliefs that you have about someone dictates the paradigm you build about them. And it all starts with a first impression. Your first impression begins to form that belief, because we evaluate things on sight. Now, there's a difference between evaluation and judgment. You can evaluate without judging. You can say, this looks like this. When you judge, you're saying that is that. You're pronouncing judgment. Be open. Be open. It's a skill set. It's mindset. Be open. When you see somebody for the first time, when you meet somebody for the first time, be open. Because the way that they act with you is not the way that they act with someone else. When you get idle gossip about somebody and, he's like that, he's like this, he's like that. And then you actually have a personal experience with that person. And then you go, well, he wasn't like that with me. What's up? Well, it's because his perception of you is different. It's because his paradigm that he has assigned to you is different based upon what he believes about you. So you can have one relationship with the same person that another person has with that same person and have a totally different relationship, totally different experience. So this is why you shouldn't depend on gossip. This is why you shouldn't partake in gossip. Why? Because your subconscious is listening. And pronounce judgment on something when you haven't even gotten the facts yet. Now, why does this happen? How is somebody different with this person, different with that person, different with that person, but it's the same person? How does that happen? Well, sometimes it's adaptation to social rules and issues. In other words, you might have a parent that is strict with their child, but then very friendly with their best friend. Okay, because of the roles that they need to play. Every act one way. Right? When you go to church, you behave a certain way. When you go to the nightclub, you behave a certain way. With each individual that you deal with in the world, you will act a certain way. This is how complex the human being is. Another one is a fear of rejection. When people have a fear of rejection, okay, first of all, that's not a good thing to have. But when they have the fear of rejection, they project something favorable, right? They don't want to be rejected. They don't want to be pushed out. They don't want to be pushed away. Salespeople are very good at this. Very, very good at this. They will tell you what you want to hear. Now, a lot of people, over the years, I've seen a lot of people talk about, real. We're going to be real. Just being real, and a lot of times it's an excuse to be trashy. A lot of times it's an excuse to swear. A lot of times it's an excuse to be vulgar. But we're keeping it real. You don't need to be vulgar to be real. But if you're trying to please someone else, if you're trying to be a people pleaser, just know that you're doing a disservice to yourself. And if you do that often enough, you're going to lose track of who you really are. Why? Because everything you do is going to be in that direction. Why? Because your subconscious will take you in that circle and you will be stuck. Your subconscious learns not to be real. Your subconscious learns to put on a front. Your subconscious learns to be Teflon, if you want to say it that way. Okay? Pleasing others, keeping everybody else happy. That's a job. That's a job. I used to work with somebody like that. And he was always happy, like always a little too happy. He was always overjoyed, right? And I made the comment to this other guy that I worked with, right, that knew him, and I said, boy, that must be exhausting, putting up that front all the time, just putting up that, that exhibition of a personality to be accepted. I was doing another thing at the time. I was doing voice acting, but I was acting. This guy was being serious. So what happens in that instance is you lose sense of self. Here's another way you lose sense of self. When you identify with a job title, when you identify with a degree, when you identify with a position, when you identify as your profession. I deal with high performance professionals, that's what I call them, because they have demanding jobs. But what happens with professionals, is that they become so identified with what they do because they work so much, because so much of our lives is spent at work. They lose sight of who they really are and how they really feel, because the job demands other things. Their job demands that they be a certain way. Their job demands that they be positive, or that they do certain things required within the job. And pretty soon they identify with that and they get seen as that. So you become, instead of Joe, you become Joe the doctor. You become Joe the attorney. And people start to see you as that. And it's okay professionally. And when that happens, you lose sight of yourself. And you start asking, at some point, what about me? So that's another paradigm. There's also personal growth and evolving paradigms. Over time, an individual grows. Personal growth. Everything in the universe is vibrating. Don't evolve when you don't go with the flow, when you don't learn, when you don't change, when you don't get better, when you don't adapt. If you're stuck, you're not adapting. Only doubt and fear slow down this process. It slows it down. And pretty soon, when it's slowing it down, it takes a long time for you to catch up. It's only doubt and fear. That's all it is. Just a little fear, just a little doubt. But your subconscious learns to doubt. Your subconscious learns to fear. And then it repeats. Because 90 to 95% of what you do is subconscious. Your body knows how to do it better than your conscious mind. So your subconscious is a culmination of all of your senses. It's not a state of mind. You memorize everything you touch. You memorize everything you smell. You memorize everything you see. You may not think you do. But pretty soon something happens and it triggers that memory. You're in the shopping center and you hear the music and it takes you back to 5 years old. You go, yeah, I remember hearing that at the carnival. Yeah, I remember at grandma's house when she used to babysit me, I used to hear that song. So you think you have a bad memory. A lot of these things that you think has been projected onto you. A lot of these things that you think you've seen in the media, and they've told you, no, you're like this, right? You know those pharmaceutical ads that you see? And it says, are you coughing? Do you feel tired? Are your legs swollen? And pretty soon you start looking at your legs and you go, yeah, I might think my legs are swollen, right? They kind of look swollen. So when you start thinking a thought, it becomes a belief in your subconscious. That begins to shape your paradigm. So personal growth, an evolving paradigm, is a paradigm that's flexible, that changes, that grows with its environment, that continuously evolves with its environment. If you take a human being and you put them in a certain environment, they will adapt to it. There are evolving paradigms. And there are people that are stuck. So what's the cure? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. You'd be surprised how many people with these 4 pillars came to me with PTSD, anxiety, fear, all kinds of stuff, depression. And like I said, we make no medical claims, but I give them cycles of these 4 pillars. We call them cycles because we don't want to use any medical terms. But we give them cycles. We see them for 1 hour once a week. We give them cycles of this, and it's gone. Or minimal in extreme cases. Some forms of PTSD are very severe. So we're only able to minimize it. But when I use the term minimize, the way I quantify it is you can control it. You can turn it off. You can step away from it. It comes back, but you can push it down and move forward. Push it down, move forward. Push it down, move forward. It's the glass half empty and flipping it to the glass half full. The ability to push it down and move forward. Pushing it down and moving forward does not have to do with denial. It's not denying that it's there. It's the ability to say, okay, not now, I need to focus on this. Not now, I need to finish my work. Not now, I need to be productive. Not now, I need to address this first. So when a military person is in a crowded shopping center and they get PTSD, their ability to push it down and move forward and walk out of the shopping center to where there's less people. Survival mechanism. Doing what you have to do to survive. This is not a negative thing, okay? Some of these are protective masks. I used to do this all the time because I worked in a very toxic work environment. I worked in a couple of them, very toxic. And sometimes you have to prevent against trauma, hardship, judgment, all of these things. So you have to build that paradigm and come from there. As a survival mechanism, you know, it's go along to get along. It's not a belief. It's a constructed paradigm. It's a coping mechanism. Because you have to cope with the situation. Because you have to survive within that situation. And it could be a toxic workplace. It could be a toxic relationship. It could be a toxic family situation. It depends. It depends on the individual. The other form of, you know, what people perceive to be two-faced, right, comes from a lack of inner alignment. When you haven't reached the highest vibration, your highest vibration, which is authenticity. Authenticity is the highest vibration. Sometimes people project inconsistent paradigms. So it's like try this, 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 try this. Like that. Inconsistent paradigms. It's pretty confusing when you see it. But authenticity is the highest vibration. When you're being authentic, who you are, and you don't care of what someone else thinks. Because if you care about what other people think, they're controlling you. It's like they have the remote in their hand, right? It's like they have that game remote in their hand, the controller. They're controlling you with the controller, just like that. When you care what they think. Who cares what they think? That's none of your business. Let them think as they wish. But with that lack of inner alignment, paradigms shift frequently from one to another, to another, to another, to another, to another. It also reflects conflicting paradigms. Because these paradigms are not set yet. They're shifting, they're shifting, they're shifting like that, they're shifting like that, they're shifting like that. And then you go, well, I thought I understood his position on this, and now he's saying this other thing. And then, 3 days from now, he said something else. And then, you see, so it keeps shifting. When you align with your authentic self, you don't need to worry about it. So how do you get that alignment? Confidence. How do you achieve confidence? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Very simple. Easy to do. 15 minutes a day. Look it up. So sometimes what appears to be deception, it's not really deception, it's insecurity. It's that guy that I used to work with that was always happy, always cheerful, always, never in a bad mood, never in a somber, quiet state. He was always animated, right? It's exhausting. It's also very hard to trust a person like that. But it's not necessarily that he's being deceptive. He's not really being deceptive. He's doing his idea of what a personality is. He's acting out his version of who he wants the world to see him as. When a person does that, they're doing their idea of friendly, their idea of sincerity, their idea of personality. And this is why in my men's coaching, I have to teach them how to be authentic. Because there's a difference in. And for the men out there, women are very, very good at spotting incongruency. The majority of your actions are in body language. If your actions don't match your words, you're incongruent. A woman can spot it like that. Why? Because she's wired for survival. Children can spot you like that. Why? Because they haven't been conditioned much yet. That's why you get the cold, hard truth from children. Because they haven't learned to construct these artificial paradigms yet. They're observing, they're learning, but they see you. Children see you. Guys, women see you. Okay? So authenticity is the highest vibration. When you're being authentic, you don't care what the other person thinks. And when you don't care, they do not have the controller in their hand. They are not controlling you. So this doesn't always mean that a person is being dishonest when they appear to be two-faced, as they say. Sometimes it's for acceptance. Sometimes it's for survival. Sometimes they're just adapting to their surroundings. Especially if it's a new surrounding. They don't know whether to be this way or that way, or this way or that way, or this way or that way. The solution is not to care. How do you not care? Well, you have to be confident. What is confidence? Confidence is the absence of anxiety. Confidence is the absence of fear. All the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Every negative emotion goes back to fear at the foundation. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization fixes it completely. But it takes repetition. What do I mean by repetition? Well, start with one of these. This is why they say the pen is more powerful than the sword. Okay? I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. If you write that, in 14 days you will feel a shift. In 14 days. But you have to mean it when you write it. Think about what you're writing. Don't just write like this to get it done. Think about what you're writing. Put thought into it. So many people today don't think. Why? Well, because we have things that think for us. Okay, here's one. This is one. This will think for you. Okay? You won't have to put very much thought if you live on this. You just keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Use one of these. I am so happy and grateful now that I am confident. Thank you. In 14 days, you will feel a shift. In 63 days, you will feel a significant difference. Now, the meditation part, what is that? Well, sit still. There's a difference between quiet and still. Be still. And just sit there for 10 minutes. I know it sounds easy, right? Try it. Set the timer on your phone for 5 minutes first. Very few people can sit for 10 minutes and be comfortable. Because we live in this world full of stimulus. Okay? Dopamine hits, all kinds of adrenaline, all kinds of stuff. We're always used to go, 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 do, right? One thing after the other, scrolling. You know, scroll. Wow, I can't believe I saw that. Now, when it's time to be still, now when it's time to be, it's a challenge. Start with 5 minutes, wait until your timer goes off, and tell yourself, okay, it's like training a puppy. Tell yourself you're not moving until you hear the chimes. Set it on chimes, not an alarm. You don't want to shock yourself out of stillness. It's not good for you. Then when you can do 5, then you go 10. You don't need more than 10. If you're meditating for 45 minutes, you're showing off. You can meditate for 45 minutes. I'm just joking. But I'm saying it's not necessary. If you enjoy it, by all means, it's good for you. What do you do when you meditate? What is your goal? Let's go over the goal. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident. Thank you. That's the goal. Ask for confidence. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, believing in what you ask, you will receive. You will receive the answer. Mark 11:24 in the Bible. Ask, believe, receive. When you ask, believing that you will receive, you will receive. You can say, seek and ye shall find. You can say, knock and the door will open. It always opens, all the time. Every door you knock on will open. It may not open the way you want it to open, but it will open. Paradigm shift almost killed you back in 17? What did you do? How did you do it? What happened? Iman? Is that your name? Iman? Iman? Evolution. Yep. Good evening. Good evening, Kaboom. Good evening, guys. Yeah, let me know about that, Iman. That's yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, you guys. Yeah, let me know about that. A paradigm shift is not supposed to harm you. Maybe you were ill-advised, or maybe you were doing it the wrong way. Or yeah, you could get confused if you do it the wrong way. Good evening. So these paradigms that we have for different people and different things in different environments are very important to understand. Because sometimes people feel a certain way about something, and then they feel completely opposite over here with somebody else, and then over here it's different, and then over here it's again different, and people think something's wrong with them. No, you are a very complex being. You are a very complex being. You are not going to deal with your boss or talk to them or interact with them the same way as your best friend or a family member. And each family member will have a different paradigm. There's no such thing as dealing with everybody the same way. It doesn't happen. And there are many different reasons for this. I've gone over some of them. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you very much. So you also have to focus on authenticity in order to become it. Or let's say this another way. Become the best version of yourself. Authenticity is the highest vibration. So to become the best version of yourself, what's necessary? You need to become confident. Becoming confident, another way to say that is to say, get rid of the fear. Get rid of all the negative emotions. All of the negative emotions are rooted in fear. Get rid of all the negative emotions. Purge yourself of all the negative emotions. How do you do that? Doesn't negativity come back all the time? Yeah, it does. It does, but you can guard against it. The gatekeeper is your conscious mind. Your frontal lobe. That's where all the thoughts get processed. Okay, this is your processor. This is your operating system. Your subconscious is your hard drive where the programs are stored. So once you believe a thought, a belief is a thought, you keep thinking, once you believe the thought, it gets stored in your subconscious. Now it becomes a program. Now it's part of that 90 to 95% of what you do automatically from memory. I'll give you a good example. You drive to work Monday through Friday, same route. You go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. On Saturday, you want to pick up some bread and milk from the store. You get in the car and you start driving, but you're thinking about something else. And because you're thinking about something else, your subconscious takes over, and what happens? It starts driving you to work. And then you go, oh my goodness. And you correct your path and you go to the store. Because your subconscious was automatically taking you to work. Do you see how intelligent you are? Do you see the miracle that you are? The kingdom is in here. Jesus Christ told you the kingdom is within. The kingdom is not out here. The kingdom is not built of gold. The kingdom is in here. But because you have eyes, you look out there. You go searching out there. All you need to do is search in here. Close your distractors. Close your distractors. And ask. The majority of my clients are women. Always have been. Always will be. Why? Because women want knowledge. Women want to get ahead. Women do their homework. They study. They do all of that. What happens with men? Well, men are good too. Some men can focus like that. But when a woman wants something, there's nothing stopping her. Nothing will stop her. She will attain the goal. And this is why you see these women who have multiple degrees. They study everything. My marketing director has certifications in everything. And she tells me, oh, uncle, whenever I'm bored, I just go get certified in something. Why? Because she wants to better herself. The world has been slanted against women since the Garden of Eden. But let me tell you something. When you get a dog to protect your home, you want the female Rottweiler. You want the female German Shepherd guarding your home. You want the female. The females are the good watchdogs. You want the female pit bull guarding your home. It's how they're wired. They're wired to protect. They're wired to protect their young. Those dogs are the most vicious. Now, it's not a sexist comment or anything. It's just in my personal experience of 36 years of teaching. Surf's up, my guys are gone. Not my professionals. I gotta say that. Not my professionals. Okay. My non-professionals, throw the dice. But here's the thing, right? When you're looking at paradigms, when you're looking at developing something better, when you're looking at subconscious, superconscious, right? The superconscious is what we call God. And the reason I refer to it this way is some people don't believe in God. Some people believe in universe. Some people believe in source. Some people believe in Allah or Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter what you believe. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm here to tell you how this one works. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ said it, Krishna said it, Gautama Buddha said it. They all said it differently, but it all points to the same thing. It's in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. The 10 Commandments come from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Look it up. Esoterically, the Bible is a manual for this one. In esoteric knowledge, the Bible refers to this one. How do you manifest things? You manifest it through your subconscious. Very simple. I remember when I watched the documentary The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and these people were telling me, oh, that's satanic. I had to laugh at these guys. It was amusing. They go, oh, that's satanic. That's witchcraft. That's not. I'm like, no, it's not. It's your subconscious. They just don't say subconscious. Sometimes they mention it here and there. And yeah, part of it is sales, right? You know, we want to create this mystical thing, and we want to give you this magic ball, and when you look into the crystal ball, you can bring a new car into your driveway, kind of thing. It works. It just isn't magic. It's you. It's your subconscious. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. When you apply all 4 pillars to one thing, it cannot not happen. It has to happen. I've tested this over and over and over. I've tested it with cars, with businesses, with clothes, with shoes, with everything. Relationships, real. But it starts in here. It comes from within and unfolds. Life doesn't happen to you like this. It comes from within. It goes like this. It unfolds for you. Are you fearful? Then your life path will unfold into fearful things. Are you loving? Then your life path will unfold into loving things. Everything in the universe is a reflection. Everything mirrors everything else. But you don't see that. Why? Because there's something called distraction that pulls you in to things. Your eyes pull you into things. You get pulled in to that new car. You get pulled in to that new job. You get pulled in to that title, to that degree, to that occupation. You get pulled into that reality. Your reality lives in here. Your perception is yours, and yours alone. You can explain the same thing to 5 people, and all 5 will understand differently. And this is why I teach in variables, not parables, variables. You want to say it another way? I give different examples of everything. Because one person isn't going to get just one example. When you teach in variables, it's because you understand that everything has variables. There's infinite possibilities assigned to each decision you make. When you make the commitment, when you make the decision, when you make the choice to go outside and get in the car and go for a drive, there's an infinite amount of possibilities involved. You're choosing in the moment. Quantum physics tells us this. You're choosing in the moment. And in the moment moment you're developing your reality, and your reality is coming out from within. It's playing out from within. You're attracting things based on what you are bringing out from within. So you decide how you want to bring this out. You want to bring it out through fear, or you want to bring it out through love. Love is at the highest vibration. There's love, peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction. If we go below satisfaction, satisfaction is the least positive emotion. Now we begin the negative emotions all the way down to fear, worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear at the bottom. Are you feeling guilty about something? Are you worrying about something? Is something always on your mind? You're always thinking it. Choose your thoughts wisely, because your thoughts will become beliefs, even if it's not the general reality. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Once you believe the thought, the superconscious takes over, and the superconscious gives you intuitive guidance towards that subject, whatever it is. This is not about judgment. This is about your own reality. Whatever you choose, you don't have to choose positive. You can choose negative. There's an end to negativity. You can go all the way down until you reach the street, then you can go all the way to prison, and then you go all the way to the graveyard, and that's it. It's done. It's over. Now your energy has to find another body. When we talked about metempsychosis, the process of inhabiting another form, your energy could go into anything. You could be the lily pad for the frog in the next life. It's a theory. But graveyard is where it ends. For this life, you live one time this way, just one time, like this. And if you live this well, you don't need another one like this. You don't need another reality like this. You fulfilled your mission. You fulfilled your purpose. We all come to learn. We all come to share. We all come to give. We all come to receive. We come to experience this life. It's not right or wrong or good or bad. It's what it is. It's what you make it. If you want it really exciting, it may include some really dark stuff. Not to say that the light is boring. I'm just saying most human beings go like this, right? We have dark thoughts, we have light thoughts. We have good thoughts, we have bad thoughts. We have good times, we have bad times. The bad times over here push us back into the light. So you can strive for the light, and occasionally you hit the dark and then back in the light. Because you're a human being. Yesterday we were talking about Jesus Christ saying, cast your net to the right side, not the left. And when the apostles cast the net to the right side, they couldn't pull the net up. There was so much fish. What that's telling you esoterically is that the right side, the right hemisphere of your brain is where the abundance mindset is. That's where creativity is. That's where creativity lives. That's where Jesus sits, at the right hand of the Father, not the left. That's where you get divine guidance. That's where you get intuition. That's where you receive your blessings. Because the universal law of divine oneness says that we are all one energetically. And then there's the opposition. We are bound to the physical matrix. Unless you surrender. Surrender the physical matrix. How do you do that? Well, you can be in the world and not of the world. You don't have to be like everything else. You can be different. You don't have to follow your neighbor. If he has a new grill, you don't need to get a new grill. Get a new boat. Get a new something else. There's a lot of monkey see, monkey do in the world. There's a lot of monkeys. You don't need to be the monkey. You came here for you. You came here to live your life path, and your life path will unfold in unlimited number of ways. It will just unfold easily if you allow. When you're worrying, it's fear. It's not allowing. Okay? It's going like this. It's going like that. It's going slow. As soon as you ease up, as soon as you relax, as soon as you allow confidence, your life path flows again. It's not a linear process. We go like this, we go like that, we go like this. It's not a linear process. If it were, life would be boring. It wouldn't be interesting. We would have no challenges. But just know that when something goes wrong, okay, this is a 50 percentile. When you go too much this way, or you go too much this way, you can correct it on your own. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to give. I don't know how many hours we gave so far, but it's been over 100. I don't count. When you give something, don't keep track. Just give. When you want something, give it first. You want love? Give love first. You want attention? Give attention first. Whatever it is that you desire in life, whatever it is that's important to you, that you want to receive, give first. If you don't have money to give your time. Your time is valuable. You'll never recover your time. I will never get back this 1 hour that I did this morning, or that I do every morning. I don't get paid for this. This is my community service. But when you give, the blessings come. Give your time if you don't have money to give. Giving time is much more important than giving money. Anybody can donate to charity, take a percentage out of their paycheck, that kind of thing. Give of your time. When you give of your time, you give of your life, and you make the world a better place. That's it for this morning. It is 7:59 in Hawaii. We'd like to remind you that we'll be here tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. There's no sales pitch. I'm not here to sell you anything. Thank you for being here, you guys. I love you guys. Take care. Love you, Facebook. Take care. We're going to release